presentation that will start out talking a little bit about the different halls to kind of have you have an understanding of what the options are on our campus. And then we'll go through some of the ways that we support your students and who the staff are in the buildings so you can have an idea of who you could reach out if you have questions, or if your student is not sure, you can direct them to these people to help them out. So we're going to start off first by talking about the different living options, the types of campus livings that we have at UMass Lowell. So the first type that we're going to talk about are our traditional residence halls. And by that, what we mean with a traditional residence hall is that rooms are arranged along a hallway, and there are shared community bathrooms that the folks who live in a traditional building will share with others on their floor. For many of us that attended college, this is what we've experienced, meaning you walk down a hallway, there are rooms on either side of it, and there's either two individuals sharing a room, three individuals, or four individuals, depending on what type of room that they're living in. The type with traditional halls, these are community focused living. It makes it easier to meet new people and build friendships. Every year we administer our residential experience survey, and we do see from our traditional residence halls that students felt that it was easier making connections with other individuals living in their buildings just because of the nature of having to leave their room to use the bathroom, to go out to different aspects of the building, like lounges, to see people. One of the things about this type of living is that students are responsible for cleaning their own rooms. We do health and safety inspections once a semester to ensure that folks are keeping up with their laundry, that they're taking out their trash, that there's not anything that could potentially impede them from being able to exit the room if there's an emergency, as well as to look at potentially preventing anything to build up that could be a fire hazard. The one benefit, besides meeting additional people easily in our traditional residence halls, is that the UMass Lowell facility staff clean the shared bathrooms that are on each of the floors. So students don't have to do that. Those are done by our facility staff. So one of our first halls that we're going to talk about is Bourgeois, and this is on our East Campus. It has 5 residential floors, and the building is comprised of double rooms and quad rooms. The quads are 4 people living in a space. However, they're twice the size of a double, so they're sized appropriately for the number of people that will be living there. The air conditioning situation for this building is that there is no air conditioning in Bourgeois. There is a living learning community, which I'll talk a little bit more about living learning communities later on. And this is our Riverhawk Scholars Academy for first generation college students, or RHSA. There are many lounges throughout the building, and like its sister hall, Leach, which I'll talk about in a minute, it has some unique lounges on the ends of the building that are sort of like study booths that you can go sit in and do some different things. They're actually one of my favorite features of all of our residence halls that we have on campus. There is a community kitchen in this building. It's located on the first floor in a large lounge area, so it creates a social space that the students can be a part of. And then we have 10 resident advisors, or RAs, that work in this building to help support the students that are living in it. Concordia Hall is another traditional building. It's on our South Campus. It has 6 floors of residential spaces. It's comprised of double rooms and singles. This is actually one of the only buildings on our campus that has a high amount of single spaces in it. So it is on our South Campus. It is one of our more original buildings to the campus residential community, having been built in the 60s. But again, it does have more single rooms, which makes it very popular with students. There is no air conditioning in it. The bathroom style, again, is a community, meaning students will leave their actual room to go use the bathroom facility down the hallway. It does have multiple lounges. There are no community kitchens, and there's a total of 5 RAs in this building. Foxhall, which is the largest building on our campus, it is 18 stories tall, is located on East Campus. It has a total of 15 residential floors. That's because the first, second, and third floor are used for different purposes. The first is general space that has the student mailroom, the dining services office. It has a large programming space called the Common, and this is where the building staff, their office is located on the first floor. The second floor is home to the University Dining Commons, or the large dining hall that works for our East Campus student and serves them. And then the third floor is all community space. It has some study spaces available and a large multi-purpose room where students can either come to watch TV, they can study, they can play games down there with their friends. So then 4 through 18 are actual residential floors. This building is comprised of double rooms, triples, and quad rooms. An interesting fact, this building does have air conditioning. Floors 4, 5, and 6 are the ones that are air conditioned. The reason the rest of the buildings, so floors 7 through 18, are not air conditioned is when this building was originally opened, 4, 5, and 6 of this building were designed to be office spaces. So at the time, the decision was made to have those air conditioned since they would be open during the summer months, and folks that work in the offices needed the air conditioning to make that happen. After those offices moved out, those floors were reconstructed into residential spaces from offices. So the air conditioning remained, and there is an urban legend sometimes that I'll hear students talking about that when the university constructed this building, they ran out of funds to complete air conditioning throughout it, which is not true. But that does explain why, since those originally were office spaces used in this building, why there was air conditioning on 4, 5, and 6, as well as floors 1, 2, and 3. These bathrooms, again, the style in this building is community. There are multiple lounges sprinkled throughout the building that students can use, and there are multiple community kitchens that students are able to take advantage of. And we have a total of 30 RAs in this building. Leach Hall, which is located on East Campus, again, is the sister building to Bourgeois Hall. So it is 5 floors, comprised of doubles and quads. There is no air conditioning in this building as well. It is home to our STEM living learning community with our Women in Science or WISE engineering living learning community in this building as well. It has multiple lounges, and just like Bourgeois, it has a first floor kitchen that the students are able to take advantage of. And there are 10 RAs in this building as well. So those were our traditional residence halls. We're now going to talk about the on-campus suite residence halls that we have available at UMass Lowell. And a suite is basically a building where the rooms are arranged with a common living space that the students will share, just the ones assigned to that suite, bathrooms, again, that those students will be in that suite using, and then bedrooms that are in our suites. And typically, all of these bedrooms are double bedrooms that we're going to talk about in a second. It provides a more independent living environment. Students are responsible for cleaning their bedrooms, the bathrooms, and the shared common living spaces. So, unlike the traditional halls, the university's facility staff will not enter these spaces to clean during the academic year. So, it does fall on the students who are living there to ensure they're doing it. Again, another reason why we do our health inspections to make sure that they are upkeeping and keeping the room in an environment in a way that everyone can live there comfortably. Some of our suites have kitchenettes. These are basically built-ins into the room that have a sink and refrigerator for the residents to use. And I'll go through and talk about that as I show our different suite options that we have. The first building is Donahue Hall, which is located on our East Campus. It has 5 residential floors, and it has 4, 6, and 8 person suites. So, for example, a 4 person suite would have 2 bedrooms that has 2 people living in that bedroom. The 6 person would be 3 bedrooms that would have 2 people in each bedroom, so 6 people total. And the 8 person suite would have 4 bedrooms with 2 people living in each bedroom. The bathroom again is in the suite, and it's shared between individuals. In an 8 person suite and a 6 person suite, there's actually 2 bathrooms on each side of the suite. So the students, as the suite gets bigger, we do scale the number of bathrooms to meet the need and demand of the folks that are living there. There is no air conditioning. These suites do not have kitchenettes. So their living common area is basically a large living room area with a sectional couch and some other furniture in it that we provide. The living learning community in this particular building is our business living learning community. There is one lounge in the first floor of this building that's a community lounge that the students can use. And there is no kitchen in this building, and there are a total of 11 RAs that are here. Riverview Suites, and I'm going to talk about Riverview also when we get to our apartment section. This building is comprised of 2 sides. So there's Riverview East, which we're going to talk about now. It is on South Campus, and it has 5 residential floors. The first floor of this building, under the east side, is all academic classrooms for different health sciences that have their classes down there. So some students will be able to actually walk out of their room, go downstairs, and go to class, depending on where those classes are scheduled. Again, 4, 5, or 6 person suites. There is a bathroom that is in the suite that is shared. There are kitchenettes in this particular building, in the east side of it. The living learning community that focuses in this building is our health sciences. There is multiple community lounges that students can use outside of their own common space or lounge area in their suite. And there's a total of 25 RAs in this building. However, there is no community kitchen available in Riverview. Sheehy Hall, which is the twin hall to Donahue on East Campus, it has 6 residential floors. Again, 4, 5, and 6 person suites are available in this building. Uh, the bathroom is in suite and it's shared. There is no air conditioning. It is home, though, to our FOSS Living Learning Community. FOSS stands for Fine Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. So that's a college that's actually located on South Campus. There is a community lounge, a very large one on the first floor that's shared with Concordia, as those two buildings are connected through a central entryway. And then the community kitchen, we do not have one in this building, and there's a total of 9 RAs that are in this hall. The last suite building that we have is University Suites, which is on our East Campus. It has a total of 5 residential floors. It has 4 and 6 person suites. Again, the bathroom is in suite and it's shared. There is a kitchenette in this particular building as well. So all the student living spaces in their common room living area have this kitchenette like Riverview East does. There is air conditioning in University Suites. It is home to our Living Learning Honors community. There are multiple lounges and multiple community kitchens throughout this building. And there are a total of 12 RAs that are in this residence hall. With our apartments at UMass Lowell, this is our most independent living environment that we provide. And so, where these different from our suite buildings is they actually have a full kitchen, meaning a stove, an oven, a microwave, and a refrigerator. So students are able to cook for themselves and also clean up after they do that. But it is one of the most popular options. It is open to all students. We typically try to avoid placing first-year students during their first semester in an apartment because we want to make sure that they're in an environment where they have a more opportunity to get out and meet with folks, but it doesn't mean that they can't live there. So I just want to be clear that while we try not to, it is always possible that a first year student can either select to live there themselves, or depending on where we are with our housing assignments, we may need to put a group of first year students in an apartment so that we can get them on campus. But just like our suites, students are responsible for cleaning their bedrooms, the bathrooms, the shared common living spaces, and the kitchen and all the appliances that go with that. And again, we talked about them being equipped with a full kitchen, with the stove, oven, microwave, and refrigerator. So it really does provide our most independent type living on the campus. So the first one we're going to talk about is a property that we are beginning to lease this year. We have partnered with the Edge Merrimack, which is a building in the Lowell area that primarily houses students, not all UMass Lowell students, but we have worked with them based on having an high wait list last year in anticipation of our housing numbers, where we've added and leased a total of 83 additional beds for this year. Based on the numbers and how they came out last year, this is where we feel comfortable saying we should be able to get students off of our wait list, but also have not a financial responsibility for the entire building. One thing that will be unique about it is it's only one residential floor. The rest of the floors in this complex, which there's a total of 5 floors, will be run by the Edge Corporation, and they'll be leasing those again, to individuals who want to live in this particular building. But the 5th floor of this hall will be ours specifically, and it will be keyed access through the elevator and the stairwell so that only our students are able to get onto that floor and have access to that. In this particular building, all of the apartment bedrooms are single bedrooms. Excuse me, are most of the majority of them are single bedrooms, but there are some apartments that are, for example, a 2 bedroom apartment that has a double bedroom. So there would be 4 people in it total. But the majority of them, like I said, are apartments that have a single bedroom for each of the students. So those are 4 bedroom units. So each student living there gets their own bedroom versus the double bedroom unit that would basically account for 2 people in each bedroom. The bathroom, again, is located in the apartment. It is shared. It is a full kitchen. It has air conditioning. It has an in-unit laundry. So, unlike some of the other buildings that had to go and do the community laundry, this one, the way that it was built, has the unit laundry in it. So, they'll be able to do that. It currently does not have a living learning community, as it's only 83 bed spaces. There are community lounges on the 5th floor that they are able to use and study, and there are no kitchens. And we will have 5 RAs dedicated strictly to the 5th floor, as well as this building. When I get to our full-time live-in staff, we're hiring another full-time staff member who will live and work in this building to assist those residents that are assigned there. So even though it's not in a traditional on campus residential experience, it's right next to our campus by our Sangus Center. And we will be staffing the floor where our students will be living with all the same staff that we provide to our on campus population. We are targeting mostly returning students who are upper class, as well as transfer students who want to live in a more independent living environment. So we're looking at this as a great opportunity to kind of expand what we have for those students who don't necessarily need all the traditional experiences that come with a college residence hall during that first semester. So back to our Riverview Suites on South Campus. Again, there's 5 residential floors. It has 4 and 6 person apartments. Those are all double bedrooms. So in a 4 person apartment, there would be 2 bedrooms. A 6 person apartment, there would be 3 bedrooms. The bathroom, again, is an apartment and it's shared. It does have a full kitchen in Riverview West because it is an apartment. It is air conditioned. The laundry is community, meaning that they will use this community laundry room on the first floor to complete that. And again, just like Riverview East, this is a home to our health sciences living learning community, and it has multiple lounges throughout the building as well. Again, no community kitchens, and there are 25 RAs total between both Riverview West and East. And our last apartment complex that we have on campus is our Riverhawk Village. It is on East Campus. It has a total of 5 residential floors. There are double, single, and triple bedrooms. This building was originally converted from a loft to an actual um, private resident or private apartment complex. The university purchased this in 2017, and so based on that, the spaces have been assigned to fit the number of students that can fit based on square footage. That's why I say there are double, single, and triple bedrooms within this unit or within this building itself. And so it's a beautiful building. It does make it interesting as you're talking about it because it is so unique, being a former building converted into luxury apartments that is now student housing at UMass Lowell. So it does have, again, like I said, the bathroom in the apartment is shared. It has a full kitchen. It is also air conditioned. The laundry in this building is community. And then the living learning program that we have is the Reserved Officer Training, or ROTC. There are multiple lounges that students can utilize throughout this building as well. There is no community kitchen in this, again, because it is an apartment style, so they all have kitchens in their apartments. And there's a total of 23 RAs that work with this building between all the students that are in it. So, talking about these folks that are going to be working with your students, we're going to talk about who they are and what they do. So our first level of staff, these are our area coordinators, or ACs as they're sometimes called by students. They are full-time master's levels employees. They all live on campus in either their assigned building or area that they're responsible for. They supervise all the staff that I'm going to talk about on my next couple of slides that are in their assigned residential area. They assist residents with life on campus. And so they're there to be a resource to help students if they have questions, navigating different things at the university. They can offer resource referral support. So if your student is not sure where they should go to talk to someone that's not of a residence hall nature issue, these staff are trained on knowing who the offices are and who the people are that they can refer them to. They also coordinate area or building engagement activities, which I'll talk more about how we do that. But they are one of the supports that we were talking about through their presence in the buildings, their planning of these engagement strategies and activities to get students out of their space, meeting other people, and also teaching them hopefully some skills that they'll find beneficial in their adjustment and transition to UMass Lowell. Assisting the full-time area coordinators are our assistant area coordinators. These individuals are full-time graduate students, so they're either pursuing a master's degree or a doctorate. They also live on campus. Majority of them also live in the building or area that they are responsible for working with. Some of them, because of the number of staff places that we have available, may live in a different building, but it's close to where they work at. But they do have a presence in the hall, just like the area coordinator, where they have an office space that the staff students are able to go see them. And again, they supervise the staff, the RAs that I'm going to talk about next. In the building that they live in. They also assist residents with life on campus with questions, answering those, again, just like the area coordinators were, and they help coordinate area and building engagement events. The staff member on my team that you and your student definitely will have more interaction with are our resident advisors or RAs. So these are all UML undergraduate, sophomores or higher, or graduate students who have applied for our resident advisor position, have been selected. To give you some understanding of the competitive nature of our RA selection process and how much this is a desired leadership role by students on our campus, we currently, with the addition of one Merrimack Plaza, will have 141 RAs this year to support our residential communities. So out of those 141 RAs, we typically see somewhere between 50 to 60% of those folks come back from year to year because either they've graduated or they've decided to do a co-op full time. And so they decide that that's too much to do being an RA. So we will hire somewhere between, like I said, 50 to 60% of the RAs that we currently have come back on staff. But again, 141 positions, but we have over 400 applicants for these roles. So it is a highly selective process. We're trying to hire students who reflect our campus population. So they come from a different backgrounds, different majors, different interests, so that we can have a well-rounded group of individuals that our students that live on campus can connect with and learn from. Their Again, major role is to connect residents on their floor and get to know them. They do this from coordinating floor engagement events, also helping take students to different events that we do during our Welcome Home Week, which I'll again mention in a minute. But they really are your students' first stop when they need assistance or help in our halls. We do a 2-week training with them to help prepare them for the majority of situations that they can encounter. But they are individuals that, like I said, have gone through a selection and training process out of a very competitive pool for this. So they're a great group of folks that I enjoy spending time with when I get a chance as the director of this department. The living learning communities are a way that we also support our students. They provide an environment that students that have a similar academic interest or college that they are a part of have an opportunity to live together in an environment so that, at 2 o'clock in the morning, if someone's working on a plastic engineering, homework assignment and they have questions, if they live in the STEM living learning community, they can pretty much go down the hall or go into one of the lounges and probably find someone who's either doing that themselves or maybe someone as an upper class student who's already taken it that can assist. So we do see a lot of benefits bridging the in-classroom experience with the out-of-classroom experience that we have on campus. So our living learning communities, I went through those on our slides previously as we talked about the different buildings types that we have on campus. But we have a business living learning community that's connected with the business school and college on our campus. We have the FOSS or Fine Arts and Humanities and Social Sciences living learning community. We have health sciences, honors, Riverhawk Scholars Academy, again for our first generation, college students, the ROTC, and our STEM living learning community with the women in science and engineering community listed under that as well. So students would have applied for this, they would have been accepted into this and have already selected their housing assignment. And so right now, I believe from what I was told recently, we still have a little bit of a wait list for our STEM living learning community and honors, but we're able to typically meet those needs as students either decide that they want to do something that's not the living learning community, or they decide that they want to live with a friend who may not be in that particular living learning community. So we're able to get spaces opened up for those. One of the biggest ways that we support your students, besides having our staff in the building, is through our SOAR Riverhawk Residential Experience. And this stands for SOAR stands for Support, Opportunities, Achievement, and Readiness. And so it is our way of delivering what we believe, based on the university's mission, are appropriate things for our staff to help your students learn why they live on campus. So there's not a danger that any of our staff is going to, going back to my plastic engineering reference, that they're going to be teaching classes on that in the residence halls, because that's not what they're there for. Their job is to help your students connect, meet people, and make sure that they know and can find resources that will support them. So through our SOAR residential experience model, we're able to do that. And specifically, we do that through a couple ways. The biggest way is our connections. So we really focus on getting students involved, and this starts during our move-in weekend, which kicks off our welcome home week, which I'll go through a little bit of information about that here in a few minutes. But we do a lot of activities, again, building-wide, campus-wide, and then also specifically on the floors that those RAs or resident advisors will plan and put together, so that students begin building their community connections through getting to know folks on their floor first, or in their own apartment or suite, depending on which building they're living in. And then we start incorporating it into the larger campus community. So there'll be a lot of things that will be offered throughout not only the Welcome Home Week, but throughout the academic year. We do a little less amount of events after we get through the Welcome Home Week, because we also know that students are exploring other clubs and organizations they may want to be a part of, and not everyone has the time because they may be working. And again, their purpose of being at UMass Lowell is to get their degree. So we don't want to do anything that's going to make them feel like if they go to one of our events, they might have to miss out on something that could be valuable for them academically. So again, during that sort of first week of Welcome Home in that month of September, we do a little bit more engagement strategies and trying to connect them. But then after that, we sort of space those out more to ensure that we're not impeding them from being involved and also focusing on their academics. We also talk about community responsibility. So your students are coming to live with us, and they're being part of a vibrant community of over 4,135 other scholars, students that are here to learn. And so part of that is helping them understand that being part of a community means that there are certain guidelines or expectations for the way that we're able to behave and interact with others that are going to help them later in life, to be successful. So for example, if you go to our residence life housing website, under our policies, you'll see our residence life guidelines. And in one of those guidelines is our quiet hours. So we do have times in all of our buildings where noise really shouldn't be heard outside of a room or an apartment or a suite. For apartments and suites, we even specify like outside of your bedroom, so you're not disturbing your other roommates who are living in that same shared apartment or suite. So we do things to educate them on what these are, and then if for some reason, let's say someone is playing their music too loud past quiet hours, their RAs will knock on the door, ask them to turn it down, explain why they're knocking on the door. But then also the situation will be documented and referred back to that area coordinator who I talked about earlier, for them to meet with the student to have an understanding and explain why we have a quiet hours policy, what their role is within the community, and how the actions that they have impact others, and that they just need to be aware of that. So we do some educational things around that to help them understand it is about the community that we live in, and the responsibility that you have as a community member to make sure that you're following the guidelines and the different policies established by the university. Self and purpose really is about helping them explore different aspects of about who they are as an individual, but also what their purpose is. So we do a lot of things with our career and co-op center where they will put on events for the university. We will find a way to get residents to those so that they're able to kind of have an understanding of what those are. We advertise them in the building. We push out information so that they can do things like if they're walking down the hallway and we have a bulletin board about having them sort of understand their conflict style so they can sit there and read it. Or if we did a poster or a newsletter that has this information in it, they can do this on their own and sort of develop those skills and begin an understanding of it. What we will also do at some point is in the fall semester, we do two of these, and in the spring semester, we do one. The RAs are required to go to every student that is in their assigned living area and do what we call a hawk talk. So during the hawk talk, we may ask a question that references back to one of the bulletin boards or a poster series or an email newsletter that we sent out and ask the RAs will ask a question, not directly like, did you read this? But they're going to ask a question that would be information that's not like a specific detail, but it like that would be so specific you'd have a hard time remembering it. But it would be something that the question would gauge if your student either A, read it or if they have an understanding of it. And then based on that, we continue to adjust how we do these different things to ensure that we're giving students information in a way that's beneficial to them. We also do a lot of repeating of the information. So it may be something that we do an actual event in person for, and then we follow it up at different times with, again, maybe more passive things like a bulletin board, a newsletter, or a poster series to help reinforce that. And then our last one is wellness. And wellness is one of those things that's very personal to individuals. So, some of you that are joining me tonight may be someone who loves to go running. Some of you may be someone who's like this student here is like, I'm just going to hang in the hammock and look at my phone. And that could be wellness for you. So, because wellness is such a personalized thing, what we do is we look at the 8 dimensions of wellness that have already been identified by other university offices, and we spend time educating students around those 8 dimensions of wellness. Not because we think any of the 8 are better than the others. Again, like I said, it is a very personalized thing that wellness is to individuals. So our goal isn't to say, if you should go running because people like it and they get it, it makes them feel better, or, sitting in a hammock and watching your phone or reading your phone or doing those things might be relaxing to some. Our goal is to introduce people to those 8 different dimensions of the wellness so that your students can then, by the time they're living with us, either practice or say, oh, no, this dimension doesn't speak to me. But we want them to develop their own personalized understanding of wellness so that it's not a one size fit all, but we want them to have an understanding so that they can hopefully use those skills that they're learning to be more successful during their college career. Now, all of our students, they do engage in a lot of our events, but we also incentivize this a little bit. So every time a student who lives on campus attends one of our events sponsored by Residence Life, or we've identified as it meeting one of our 4 learning goals that I just talked about, we offer them an opportunity to earn what we call residential engagement points. And at the end of the fall and spring semester, every time they go to one of these events, they're able to check in at the event. The system will record that they were there, and then based on the sort of the different events. So one of the events, if it's more of a just pure social in nature, won't have a really high point value because there's a little bit of a lower risk to attend that, versus if we did something where we're inviting in, let's say, one of our university professors or career services to talk about something, we'll give that event a higher point total because it does require a little bit more time for them to be there and commitment to interact with the staff that are coming in to facilitate that. So at the end of the semester, they're able to take their points. They're able to do a couple different things. We have a bunch of really great prizes that we ask their feedback, the students who live on campus, their feedback of what they would like to see. And for a silent auction, they're able to go up and record their bids and write that down. And it's really neat to see because there's a lot of sort of sort of strategic thinking about, well, I'm going to bid on this item, but I don't want to bid all my points on this because I don't want other people to know that I have this amount of points. And so they keep going back and forth until the auction closes. The second way for our students specifically who have to have another job or they have responsibilities with their family that they need to assist with, or based on their number of classes and credit hours they're taking, they may not be able to attend everything. We also offered the opportunity for them to exchange points, typically 1,000 points per bingo card, and they have an opportunity still to win the same level of prizes that we have for the silent auction, because it's not about you being able to go to everything. So we wanted to make something as equitable as possible to allow the students, if they aren't able to attend all the events like some of our students like to do, they still have the opportunity of walking away with a prize. And a lot of times lately, the big ones have been Steam Decks or PS5 or Nintendo Switches that our students can walk away with. But there's also things down to, we've had a wellness pack that had like a yoga mat and yoga dice, so that they could, sort of practice that. There are reflection questions. There are speakers and different Bluetooth headphones that we will put out. So again, this is done at the end of the fall semester, typically at the beginning of December, and then towards the end of April each semester, so that our students are able to really engage and be rewarded for that. And each year, this silent auction and bingo, the event grows. Where we're getting to the point where we may have to find a bigger room because, as you can see, we've had to have people, when they show up, sit on the floor based on the popularity of this. So it's a really exciting thing. And again, the students are engaging, so they're walking away with some knowledge and information that they're picking up from our events, which helps them become more successful at the university as they're navigating things. One of the biggest ways that we do welcome our students, as I mentioned earlier, is our Welcome Home Week. And so these are intentionally curated events that are happening on campus. Some of them are presented by our campus partners, some of them are presented by us. We're in the process of finalizing our 2026 schedule. So when that's done, we will be sending that out through the parent and family portal to notify individuals of this, as well as we do post this on our social media and on our website as well. But there's a lot of different events that we do that are part of that. And some of the ones that I want to highlight for you specifically is we do speed friending, which is sponsored by our Residence Hall Association, which is I'll talk about here in a few minutes. But as you can see for this, it is exactly what it sounds like. You're able to go, you sit at a table. We devise a way that we will have some folks remain there and others rotate around throughout the room. And there's a series of questions that we rotate through and we have them answer those. So this again is one of those events that continues to grow in popularity. We actually have people that have come back now for this past year was the third year we've done it. And I'm like, were you here last year? And they're like, yeah, I keep coming back because I get to meet new people and this is great. So we do that for them. Our newest addition to our Welcome Home Week started last year. And what I realized is a lot of our out of state students, there's a couple different transitions that they're dealing with. One, not only coming to college potentially for the first time, but also leaving their home state, their family, and things that feel normal in the day-to-day world to them. So this is one of those events where all of our students who are from out of state, I have a list generated by our housing team, and those are emailed directly, letting them know that we're doing this. They invite them to this. And so it's amazing because we do things like, if we have, based on the number of students, we take a look at that. So if we have 15 students that are there from Texas, we'll put them all at a table so they can start to get to know that and meet people from their own state. Or if we don't have enough, we'll do it by geographic sort of regions of the country. And we ask them things like, what's the one thing, grocery store chain that you're going to miss from your home state and why? And then we talk about it as a big room, and then we do some other things to rotate so they can miss people. We tried this last year. Like I said, it was well attended based on the folks that were there. And I do know from another program that Marshall did earlier this spring, that one of the parents on that was worried about their child coming to the campus and being from out of state. And another mother who was on the panel for this event did say, My daughter went to this last year and met a bunch of people that she was friends with throughout the year. So your daughter needs to go to this. So I'm not going to call whoever's daughter that was, try to find out who they are, because that would go against this process of doing this. But we'll be, again, during our welcome home week over that move-in weekend, we'll be hosting our out-of-state student meet and greet. So they have an opportunity to meet folks either from their same state that they may not know, or from the same geographic area, again, depending on how many folks that we have from the different places outside of Massachusetts. We also do partner with a local organization in Lowell called Taste the Acre. The acre is the area that surrounds the university, and it has a ton of amazing food that's available to our students to go and partake in. So we offer two of these tours. Each spot on the tour costs typically $45, but we cover that because we want to make sure our students have the opportunity to explore their new neighborhood and literally see what's in their backyard. So this is Sophia's Greek Pantry, that they're actually creating a new location in Lowell on the opposite side of where this building is currently at. That'll have more options, but it's got a lot of Greek food that you're not able to find at just a general supermarket, and it actually has some of the best Greek yogurt I've ever had. I don't know what their magic is that they use, but it's one of those that it's like, am I eating pudding or is this Greek yogurt? And it is Greek yogurt, but it can make you think that you're eating pudding from time to time. So the students, as you can see here, had a great time. We went and tasted some different restaurants, again, all within the acre. Even myself, working at UMass Lowell now for 10 years, I hit some spots when I went with them that I had never been to that now have become rotations when we do takeout Fridays in our office. RHA, which is our Residence Hall Association at UMass Lowell. This is basically, if you think about high school in that environment, this is like our student government, but specifically for our residential students. So there is a student government association at the university that is for the whole entire student body, but RHA is for UMass Lowell. And so they do things such as put on different events. They will also address advocacy issues and find out what students are experiencing in the building and then bring those forwards. One of those specifically is they work with our dining services partners. So there's typically a food committee that the folks on RHA executive board and individuals who are interested can serve on and give feedback to our dining partners. The picture that you see is from this past May, where we took our executive board members that were just recently elected to a national conference called NACUR, which stands for the National Association for College and University Residence Halls. And so this is one example of how we can foster and develop student leaders. So those are the way that we support your students. And with the big sort of dates coming up, I do want to share some information with you from our housing team about some dates that are important for you to know to help your student navigate this. And the first one up front that I'm going to talk about is August 1. This is the date that students need to upload their health form information into the health services patient portal. And so August 1 is important because you want to do this actually before August 1. All of the health services forms that you have to upload and the information they're looking for, they're reviewed by people. So it's not as simple like you upload it and the computer just says, you've uploaded it, you're fine. So all the documentation is reviewed by our health services staff in our wellness center to make sure that everything is complete. So if you upload it August 1st, it's going to take a couple of days for that information to be reviewed and approved. So again, the sooner the better. And the reason why we want your students to do that is because on August the 3rd, we will be opening up our move-in appointment slots on the housing portal. So if your student has submitted their health information forms, it's been reviewed and approved, when they log into the housing portal starting on August 3rd, they're going to be able to see time slots that they're going to be able to pick for them to be able to move in. So that's why August 1 is important. And again, if you get it in by August 1, you're still within the time frame. Just remember that you won't most likely have a response back if it's submitted on August 1 by the August 3rd when those open. August 23rd through the 27th, we offered students what we call early arrival. So starting on that Sunday, the 23rd through Thursday, the 27th, students can select to move in one of those days. There is no additional charge for moving in early. Um, but what I will tell you is that the campus is not fully open yet. So if they do come to campus early, they would need to pay for the dining. If they want to eat in the dining halls, their meal plans won't be active until that Friday, the 28th. So if they go to the dining hall, they would have to pay out of pocket for those meals before the semester starts. As well as the like campus shuttles and other services that would be operating during the semester aren't up and running at that time because it is a courtesy that we allow students to have to move in and not have to potentially come back when everything is as busy. So between the 23rd and the 27th, we actually see about 50% of our residential population already moved in before August 28th, which is new resident move-in day. So even though the 28th is the official new resident move-in day, one of the questions I often get is, well, okay, can we come early? Like, can we do an early arrival and move in like on the 25th and then just come back on the 28th? Yes, you actually can do that. You can move in starting on the 23rd during those early arrival move-in times, not stay there the entire time. You can come drop stuff off and then come back in on the 28th and kind of have that more official welcome that we'll have in place to welcome folks there. And for example, if you're not able to move on the 28th, there is also, you can still move in after the 28th. We'll just start reaching out to you to say, hey, are you coming? Because again, we may have a wait list and we want to get those people off of it as quickly as possible versus them having to wonder. So those are some key dates that we want to kind of have in mind from our housing team to share with you. And at this point, I'll put up the contact information for our office and I will turn it over to Marshall to see if we have any questions that came in while I was presenting.
Sure, great. So we do have a question in the chat. What is the laundry setup and for Donahue Hall or Donahue Suite?
Yeah, so Donahue, all of our buildings except one Merrimack Plaza, they all have community laundry rooms located either on the first floor of the building or Fox, because it is a 18-story tower. There are floors that have laundry facilities and then other floors in Fox that have kitchens. But in Donahue, it's one centralized laundry room on the first floor. One of the things that we did 4 years ago is instead of like when I was in college, I had to go get a roll of quarters and make sure I had that to do my laundry. In today's world, because of the student ID, the U card that they carry, we've actually gone ahead and figured what the typical average use of laundry is for students. And so the laundry is built into the rate you're already paying for housing. So all students have to do when they want to do laundry that live on campus is go to the laundry room, tap the machine, either the washer or the dryer, with their U card, and that will activate it. So they just need their clothes, some detergent, and a little bit of knowledge beforehand, so that we don't end up with that white clothes turning pink because something red was in it. But all the students have access to it. Again, like I said, one Merrimack Plaza, which is that floor that we're leasing at the Edge Merrimack, will have in-unit laundry because they were designed that way as apartments. And so that will be there.
All right, we just had another question come in. How many showers are there per floor in Bourgeois Hall?
Yeah, so the way that Bourgeois and Leach, which is its sister building, works is that there is sort of two sides to each floor. And so each side of the floor will have its own bathroom that is based on the number of students that are living there. So the only time that you're going to see really a backup for students getting ready is over that opening weekend when no one has class. Once classes start on that Tuesday following move-in, because class schedules are different, students wake up at different times, are able to do that. Typically in that particular building, and this is I can't give you an exact number, but there's somewhere between 4 to 5 showers per each bathroom on each side of the floor.
All right, another question just came in. Does Donahue Hall have a full-size sink on the first floor lounge that you could use to fill a Brita pitcher?
It
And any additional bathrooms other than in each suite for times when it is taken?
Yeah, so in the majority of all of our buildings, there are public restrooms on the first floor that would just have a traditional sink, toilet, those types of things, not a shower inside of those. But in buildings like Donahue and Riverview, as that number goes up, there are two. So if it's a four-person suite, there's going to be one bathroom based on that would be four students using that one bathroom in the suite. Once we get to 6 and 8 person suites, there are typically two full bathrooms in there because there's more students and we want to make sure that those fixtures are there. In Donahue, there is no sink on the common first floor area, but there is a hydration station that has a bottle filler that filters the water that students are able to use. All of our buildings, except Riverhawk Village, because again, it has kitchens already within there, they do have a water hydration bottle filling station in them.
Great. And regarding that, does Foxhall Hall have water bottle filling stations?
It sure does. It's on the first floor of the building in the common lobby area.
Great. So that looks to be currently all of the questions that are in the chat. Um, one just came in. Is there an event like Free Cycle?
So the campus recreation would be the website I would direct you to look at for that. That's not something that we manage in residence life, and so I'm not exactly sure what their offerings are going to be for this year. I haven't been to a meeting where I've heard if anything's going to change, so I don't want to speak about that and give you false information. So I would direct you to the Campus Recreation Center's website to take a look at. I do know today, this is not directly related to your question, but I was asking our director of transportation a question that I had. Someone had asked me about zip cars. And UMass Lowell does have a zip card program that students can sign up for and get access to cars based on when they need them. So if your student isn't bringing their car or you didn't want them to, because all of our students can have a car and park on campus, even first year students. It may not always be right next to the building where they live, but we do have parking that even first year students are able to choose from. But now we do have zip cars on campus that students can again sign up for that program and take advantage of those. So if they need a car to do a day trip to Nashua, New Hampshire for some tax-free shopping, and they don't have a car, they're able to get one of those and utilize it.
Super. So that seems to now be all of the questions that are in the chat currently.
Yeah, we really do try to anticipate what folks need. The way that we operate is very different from even when I was a college student. There's a lot more things that are put in place to support students, not only within the residence halls, but we work with if, for example, your student could be in a class and there could be a concern that maybe a faculty member submits about them. We sit on a team of individuals that review those concerns and then determine outreach. So it may be their RA may reach out and say, hey, I heard that you may not be going to class. Let's talk about this. And then, the RA will have a conversation, provide resources, and find out. Or if it requires a full-time staff member to intervene because of the nature of it, the area coordinator may reach out to them and say, hey, we have a report that was forwarded to me. I just want to touch base with you. They always start out with, you're not in trouble. But we do a lot of things to help support them and make sure that they're getting their success in place.